it was the spring season for performing artists in America, and Houdini toured the United States doing his milk churn, water can escape, and straitjacket escapes. And to generate publicity, he would undertake a series of local challenges, and these would help drum up business by keeping his name in the local paper and encouraging people to think of him over anyone else when they wanted to book acts. One of the more elaborate or more unusual escapes he chose to perform was in relation to a company in New York called the Weed Tyre Company. Weed Tyres had just developed a new patent for snow chains to go on the tyres to provide extra grip. You've got to realise that back in 1908, cars were still something of a rarity, and people were still used to horse and buggies and horse and carts and other forms of transport. So we had yet to develop some of the infrastructure, and tyres at that time were larger and thinner than they are now, and roads were less well made. So anything that aided the purchase or aided the grip that a tyre could have was an advantage. So, linking chains together, they called on Houdini to help promote their product. So it was a stage in New York in April, and Houdini allowed the representatives of the Weed Tyre Company to enmesh him in chains, looping them round his hands, legs, and then locking them together, and he was then, in turn, bound to the snow chains around the tyres. There are two photographs of Houdini. One is him with the tyres wrapped sideways round his body, with his arms at the top, his legs at the bottom, and the tyres stretching between his arms and his legs. And there is a second with Houdini encased head to toe, one set of tyres at his feet and another above his head. And Houdini was enmeshed in the chains, and he promptly set about trying to escape. In those days, Houdini would hide behind a cabinet, and that way he could perform his escape without revealing the secret, and yet still have the ability to perform in front of people. It was effectively a screen. Now, several minutes into his escape, Houdini found that he was having trouble. The chains were too tight around parts of his body, certainly around his arms, and also were cutting into his neck. His assistant became aware of this and signalled there was a problem, and they allowed the chains to be reset. The challenge continued, but this time he was encased in a different manner because he was getting cramps, so it wasn't deemed to be a fair test. You can tell that it drained him, because Houdini normally gave a rousing speech promoting the company and promoting everyone under the sun, including himself. But that didn't happen in this case. He was so drained. What then happened was the press release came out. There was a big amount of publicity because Houdini had struggled. Now, there are those who look at it and go, well, did he put it up to it? Did he write the press release? Did he turn this apparent failure into a success? Well, it's up to you to how you take it, but the important thing to realise is that Houdini never repeated the snow chains. And as far as we could tell, through various research, through various books, through various reports, no one else has bothered to try it, because if the apparent master has struggled, what the rest of us? So this was back in 1908. 105 years later, there is an opportunity for someone to do something different at the annual United Kingdom Escape Artist Convention. And it pretty quickly became clear in discussions that only an idiot would actually try and recreate the snow chain escape. Thankfully, one was available.